Hi guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Minami and I'm back again with another YouTube video. It's your first time on my channel, you're very much welcome. Grab a seat, some popcorn, feel at home. I am Minami Extra, a YouTuber based in Manchester, UK, and on this channel we only give quality content. So you want to subscribe because you don't want to miss out on any of the videos I'm uploading. Okay, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys all what you need to know if you're considering renting in the UK, that's becoming a UK tenant. So I'm going to be spilling all the tea, telling you all the steps that you have to do to consider. So if you want to hear what I have to say, then do well to keep watching. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you guys on my next one. Mwah. It's very common to think that becoming a tenant is easy peasy and you only face challenges if you're trying to become a landlord, but then becoming a tenant in the UK is not as easy as you think. It's quite challenging. The paperwork, there are some steps and things that you need to consider. So that's why I'm here to give you all the information you need, such that if you're trying or planning to become a tenant in the UK, after knowing this information, is going to be so easy and less stressful for you. Okay, becoming a tenant in the UK is quite different from becoming a tenant in other parts of the world. For instance, I'm from Cameroon, and in my country, in case you're trying to rent an accommodation or become a tenant, most of what you need is just the money. If you find the accommodation and you're willing to just pay the rent in full, depending on what the landlord wants, that's all you really need. You can just pay and move in immediately. But then in the UK, you can actually have the money for the accommodation, but then you still don't get the house. So you start asking yourself, what do you really need? So the first thing to consider before moving to the higher steps or the more difficult things that you need is to ask yourself, what kind of accommodation are you looking for? There are different kinds of accommodations in the UK. There are shared accommodation, student accommodation. Are you looking forward to live in a flat, in a studio, a house? So that's the first thing you have to ask yourself. Next thing to consider is your budget. That is how much you're willing to pay for your rent per month, and this is also going to be affected by your salary. So one thing I discovered when I was becoming a UK tenant is the fact that if you're trying to get a particular accommodation, depending on the price of that accommodation per month, they are going to look into maybe your salary or any income means to see if your salary is able to cover your rent for the month and other expenses. You're shocked, right? Whereas in my country, like I said, if you just had, like, maybe you just appeared with 1 million and you're able to cover your rent for the year, nobody really cares. You just pay and that's it. But yeah, they are going to look into your record, like your budget per month. Are you able to cover these expenses? Are you going to be able to cover your rent and things like that? Yeah, I know you're getting worried. Just keep watching and I'm going to sort that out. You're asking yourself, oh, if I'm a student, what do I do? Yeah, I got you. Just hold on a sec, keep watching. So the next thing to consider is the location. For instance, if you're looking to rent in Manchester, you have to consider if you want to live close to the city center or a little bit further from the city center, and this also has to go with your budget. For instance, if you're living closer to the city center, your price is going to be a little bit higher, and if you're living a bit further away from the city center, then the price is going to be way cheaper. Other factors to consider when you're choosing the location of where you want to live in the UK is like the transport means. Are there buses around, trams? How accessible is it? Maybe if you're a worker or a student, do you want to rent close to school and all those things? So those are factors that you want to consider. Okay, while slowly getting to the cocoa of the matter, if I can say that. After answering all these basic questions, the next thing moving forward is to find the apartments depending on what you chose in step one, the type of accommodation that you chose in step one. But the UK is a very big place, or whatever town you choose to live in is very big, so you can't just wake up and start moving up and down looking for a house. So there are some platforms that I'm going to tell you about, or some websites which can help you to easily narrow down or find accommodations online. You know, it's a digital world, everything happens online. Before telling you guys about these websites, you also have to consider where or who you're trying to rent from. Are you trying to rent from a letting agent, directly from a landlord, or from the council? I'm not going to talk too much about renting from the council, because in the UK it's kind of restricted to rent directly from the council. You cannot just be moving into the UK, or you've never rented before in the UK and you want to rent a council house. Most council have different criteria. Like, they can tell you you must have lived in that town for at least 3 years before you can get a council accommodation. So the options you're left with is renting from a letting agent or directly from a personal landlord. Okay, the two websites I'm about to talk about helps you to narrow down your search of finding your dream accommodation in the UK, and this is Zoopla and Rightmove. You just have to go to your search engine and just type Zoopla or Rightmove, and that's the first step to getting the house that you want. While I was telling you guys to consider all the other basic things that we spoke about, is because it's going to greatly help you to navigate this app. Once you get to, let's say, the Zoopla app or the Rightmove, they are going to ask you where would you like to stay, like what I said, the location. Let's say you're trying to live in Manchester or London or Birmingham. You're going to write the particular area that you want to stay. Is it close to the city center, away from the city center? And what will help you to do that is knowing the postcode of that area, and you can always search that online. So in the UK we have postcodes which help you to know a particular area. Like, so they're literally like numbers or something, I don't know how to explain it, for particular areas. Like, every other building in the UK has a postcode. So when you get to the website, you're going to input a postcode around where you want to stay, and it's going to help you to when you search for a house or accommodations that are available there, it's going to show you all the accommodations around that particular location that you have chosen. Other features or filters which are available on these websites are your budget, because you're going to write the minimum amount that you're willing to spend, and the maximum, that's your budget, what you don't want to go above. They're also going to ask you questions. Do you want to live in an apartment that is bills inclusive, or bills aside, like you're going to be paying your bills apart from your rent? They're also going to ask if you other filters that can help you, like, to really narrow it down, because there are millions of apartments all the time. The next thing they're also going to ask you is if you want a fully furnished apartment, part furnished, or full furnished. So all those things you're going to consider. Once you've inputted all these filters, and it's going to sort out and bring the results for you. If you're trying to if you're considering living in a shared accommodation, there are some accommodations that already have tenants living in it. So some of them are going to have preferences, like what kind of housemate they want and all those kind of things. You're going to find it all there. After this, you have to proceed to the next step. Once you've found the various options that you're ready to work with, you're going to send messages to the letting agent or the landlord. Once you have sent the message to the letting agent or the landlord, they are going to get back to you, usually within 2 days, 48 hours. It all depends according to their policy. And you're going to discuss a few things like, oh, I'm interested in this apartment, blah 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 blah, da 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 da. Then after a while, you're going to put like your email or something, and they're going to get back to you. Once they get back to you and the landlord accepts that you can stay in the apartment or is willing to rent out the accommodation to you, that's not all. You have to now start going through the process of getting the tenancy agreement. They're going to now run checks. I'm going to, if you guys want, like if you find this video interesting, I want to know more about becoming a tenant in the UK, or the process that you have to go, then I'm going to go into more details about getting the tenancy agreement and everything. But for now, I'm just going to kind of just give an overview. So once the landlord has accepted that you should stay or is willing to rent the apartment to you, you're going to go through some checks, like checking your finances in case you're a student or you've never lived by yourself or something like that. You may need a guarantor. So a guarantor is basically somebody that is going to stand up for you or going to guarantee that in case you're not able to pay your rent, they are going to get from that person. And they're also going to check like the guarantor's payroll to see if the guarantor is able to cover the cost of their rent and everything like that. They are going to check if you have any criminal records. You can't just rent like that in the UK. Your previous address, if you were renting before, they're going to check if you were handling your bills in time, if you've been a good boy, a good girl, and all these kind of things like that. So I'm going to stop here today because I don't want this video to be so long. So those were the tips I had to share with you guys on becoming a tenant in the UK. There's so much more I have to share on this topic. If you're willing to know more, do also give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below what else you'd like me to talk about, what challenges you're facing. Just leave all your questions down below and I'll be sure to answer. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching and see you guys on my next one. Mwah.